Oh, good morning. And this morning we'll probably chat when Paul Fowle joins us. It was all a little bit late again this morning because for some reason uh, upload isn't uploading very quickly and it's taking an age to do anything. But we will get an expert the moment that we're allowed to have an expert in to try and fix this because it's holding us all back. It's taking us twice as long to do. And I hope that Paul has got the tab to come through. But anyway, if not, we will pause a little while to bring him in. We'll have a break in about 10 minutes. But Paul, if you're watching, the code has been sent to you, and hopefully it will work. Everything is so slow, one wonders. Anyway, where are we and who are we? Let's start off with that because still a lot of you are not aware of us, and we'd like you to be. So this. Well, here we are, all a rush, and I can see that Paul is there, waiting, lurking in the wings, because we're going to talk a little bit about the budget tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow's budget. We're going to talk about it today. There are a few hints and tips, and we'll talk to Paul about it. But the things that we'll should watch for. This is what the pundits say. But nobody will know until he opens up the little red box, gets to his feet at approximately 12:30 tomorrow, and you can join us on Mirador Television, Paul and I, and we will be watching it carefully, and we'll try to give you analysis, and if we can, we'll try to relate whatever is said and whatever is proposed to what might happen locally. We will do our very best anyway. Oh dear, some cruise ships, the UK cruise ships are ending up as scrap on Indian beaches. I suppose that's because nobody is taking cruises at the moment. What a pity, because I was told that if I took a cruise, I could find a wife. So I would have taken 10 cruises, found 10 wives, and then I could have had bacon sandwiches for most of the week. As it is, I didn't do it. So there you are. I'm sorry. I'm still single. The mostly, the dear old Nicola and Alex up in Scotland are still busy fighting. But anyway, we'll try and look at some of those things as we go through the morning. But let's bring on, first of all, our colleague and And there he is in all his glory. Good morning, Paul.
Morning. Yeah, Keith, could I just say something here? Let's have 10 minutes on the budget, because I think as we're covering it tomorrow anyway, we can give the viewers a chance to just pick some of the bare bones.
Sorry, I can't hear you. You're not coming through on sound.
You
want to check your microphone? Now you're there. Sorry, what are you requesting?
Can you hear me? Hello?
No, we're not hearing you. It normally works quite well, but nothing is working again this morning. We need to have this system overhauled, and it's all because of COVID. Is that much of it hasn't been serviced properly, of course. Would you like to try and speak again, and let's see if we're hearing you?
Yeah, it's working. It should be working.
No, I don't.
It should be working.
No, we're not getting you. We're not getting you. I'll try and send you a code again to see whether you can you can pick up. But for the moment, I better sort of just carry on my.
Okay.
No, your mic isn't working for some reason.
No, it's.
Anyway, while you're trying to fix it, I'll just try and carry the can, as it were, and if you will. If you will actually let me know when you think that the microphone is okay.
Is that okay?
But anyway, that's sounding good.
Is that okay?
Right.
Is that okay, Keith?
Yes, now we're hearing you. Let's back on.
Very odd. That's better. That's better. Right.
There we go. There we go. Yeah.
Could I start again?
Right. Now you would like to. Can I get it straight? You would like to a few minutes? Hang on, Paul. Let me ask you a question. We're talking across one another, and nobody can hear us. You wanted to 10 minutes before we discuss the budget?
No, I wanted just to pick up on your pundits thing. Nobody has got any real clue how it's going. I'd just like to. Because of our broadcast tomorrow, I'd like to just mention key things, okay? With Rooney, Rishi.
Right, okay. That's fine.
So if I could do that. First of all, they're almost.
You go ahead now. I'm going to give you full screen.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. No, we're
having problems. Houston. Bring it down.
Well, we shouldn't have too many problems, really.
Yeah.
Let's go back to square one, and there you are. It's all yours. I was hoping to give you the full floor, but it's all yours. Away you go.
It's not technical. It's just very simple. Key points. Rishi Sunak is a very clever guy, but he's only been Chancellor for a year, and Chief Secretary of the Treasury for a very short time.
We're not getting you. We're going to have to go through the process again, which we will in a few minutes. If you'll stand by, Paul, I'll try and get back to you and see whether we can get a better line, but we're just not hearing you at all.
Any better?
I think the best thing is, do you want to look at the little link I send you and click it again and see whether that helps?
Okay, let's see if I can do that. All right.
But we're taking people's time up messing around with the technology, of course, and that is the big danger of small-scale television. Is we can fall into that trap and try and fix it on air, but then we don't tell you the things that you're watching us or tuning in to watch. So let's.
Right.
If you try that again, Paul.
Right. Okay.
And in the meantime, the device is not connected, it says. So God only knows what's happening this morning. I do apologize to viewers. It really is because we can't get anybody in here to fix stuff. And technology being what it is, it all slows down. Try again, Paul, but this is the last time I think that we can try and waste time on it. Go ahead.
Right, it should be working.
No, it's not happening, I'm afraid.
Oh dear.
There we go. Yeah. All right, try it now. Better lean in though.
Is it your side or my? Is it your side or my side?
Yes, it is.
Can you hear me?
No, it's everything is normal here, so I think it was yours. So
Oh God.
away you go, because we can't waste any more time talking about it. Let's get on to the budget.
Right, but you can hear me, yes? Keith, you can hear me. Oh. Oh. Can you hear me?
No, I'm sorry. Well, we can when you lean forward, but when you lean backwards, we can't.
Okay.
It
How
all
is that?
starts to break up.
Is that better?
Yes, stay there.
Okay. Right.
Stay there so we can see your gorgeous face. Go on.
Keith, it's working this side
No,
perfectly.
it's not. No. Paul, we really can't spend any more time on it, I'm afraid. Do you want to have a go at I'm going to remove you. Have a go at coming back. Because otherwise we're just going to waste an awful lot of time. It's already 1:45, and we haven't even said hello yet. That we can't go on like that. So try to call again if you will, if you don't mind. In the meantime, I'm going to have to try and fill this gap. The Chancellor's budget. Now, of course, a lot of this comes out from leaked sources. Some from the Chancellor, the bits that he wants us to know, some from the opposition, the bits that they want us to know, and a lot of it from what used to be called the lobby correspondent. In other words, specialist journalists who have a privilege in the House of Commons to be able to talk to ministers, although that has been diluted considerably in modern times. But most of the stuff that comes out, you can believe that somebody has fed. How accurate it is depends upon their own particular knowledge of what's happening, but there's only one man, and that's the Chancellor, who has it in his little red box. So let's take a look at the Chancellor set to announce more than £400 million of additional support for the badly hit culture sector in Wednesday night's budget. Right, for the culture sector, museums, theatres, and galleries, helping them to reopen. I want to bet you. When we first went for help from the government, because we've been badly hit, is they decided that we didn't fall under pubs and leisure and so on and so forth. What do you want to bet that they find some reason that media does not fall under the culture sector either? We're out in the cold, and I'm beginning to really worry. I am really beginning to worry that this is deliberate. I'm not saying that the people that we see on the street or the people we talk to, our local MPs or whatever, are doing it deliberately, but I think there's somebody pulling the strings there. Now, we've got you, Paul. Let's see whether we can hear you. Seeing you is no problem.
Can you hear me now?
No.
Can you hear me? It's working. It's working.
Okay.
Everything fine. The mic is working.
Well, then carry on. Carry on.
But you can't hear me, Keith. You're saying I don't understand. You can't hear me.
Look, Paul, we can't discuss this anymore. We are at the moment. If we can't, I'll tap you off. Right. Okay? No, yeah. Right. You go ahead.
Right. Just briefly, it's a very inexperienced Chancellor who's got to take on basically what is a war budget.
No, it's not working. I don't know. There's something drastically wrong with it this morning, I'm afraid.
Okay, no worries.
I don't know what to do, and particularly since we're on the air. We'll try again in a little while when I can take a break. But whether we'll fall into the culture sector, but it does seem to me that the governments at all levels have been using the words. The civil service words. If you don't fall into this category specifically, then bugger off. And mainly it's because we don't want you. And I think that's it's something that really is bothering me because it doesn't matter which way we turn. There is always some excuse as to why some media organizations such as ourselves can't be helped. And I'm really beginning to get steamed up about it. But what it does, of course, is it makes us even more determined to start to probe deeper and heavier than we have been to date, because we're only a smaller operation. But we're going to focus on a few things and see whether, in fact, those people who should be under the spotlight and should be helping us are being absolutely straight down the line themselves. I'm not suggesting that there's anything wrong. Well, I am, because I know a couple of things that are bothering me, and we need some straight answers. But if we're not going to get them, don't think that we're going to go away. If governments or governance manages to do away with an organization like this, then what we'll do is we'll go back to sitting outside Cafe Nero the moment lockdown is up with our phones, and keep on with it. So don't think that you're going to bury the media. It's been tried in many parts of the world, and it doesn't work. We have a habit of coming back, and we have a habit of coming back with a bit of force. So, sorry, that's my bit, because it looks as if he's going to spend a lot of money on culture, but you want to bet that we're not culture. We're not cultured. Now, this is going to be the most crucial budget for business in a generation, it says. $5 billion fund to help high street recover from COVID. Well, we won't count as a high street. The mere fact that we come into your homes, or you can see us in the shop window or whatever, is we don't count as the high street. And good for Paul. He's trying again.
Keith, my side.
Added you to the stream, Paul. Let's see if this is any better.
Keith, it's working my side. My side is fine.
No. Right, okay. I said it feels like a loose cable to me. It's going wink, wink, wink. Yeah. But I'm saying, I'm going to have to... let us see if we can work it out in a minute.
It's your side.
Are you all right now? No, it's not our side. Our side is working perfectly okay, as far as I can see. There's nothing wrong with it.
Keith, I've checked everything. Okay. Everything's working my side. It's weird.
Okay. All right, Paul. We really got to be very careful about how much time we take of the viewers' time to discuss our particular problems. We're trying to look at their particular problems. So just let me worry about it a bit, because I can do a double check. It's
certainly working my side.
Okay, well, you see, I can hear you right now, but then it goes. It's got to be consistent, otherwise no good.
Okay, fine. Yeah, well, I can't do any more on my side, Keith. I've got everything in order.
Now we're hearing you. We're hearing you.
Good. Yeah, as I say, I thought it was working this side. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Is that all right? Excellent. I was going to walk round the block.
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay now?
Well, I'm having problems discovering whether this is working this morning as well. It's one of those things. Is we're between a rock and a hard place, as they say, because we don't have. Hang on, here we go. Discovering whether this is working this morning. It's working.
Well done.
I just checked under the output. Yeah. Right. Okay. Right, Paul. Okay. Let's give it another try. Give it another try. Away you go. Oh God! Add to stream. There we go. There we go. Now try it.
Right. Can you hear me?
All
okay.
Right.
Good. Right. Okay.
You want to talk about the budget?
Okay. This budget.
Yeah. We can hear you. Right.
Okay, good. Right. Okay. This is a unique budget. It's almost a war budget. You've got a very young chancellor who is very inexperienced in his position. That's not good. But if you look at realistically, there are three types of budget: an austerity budget, which is clearly unpopular; a middle of the road budget, which again you can please half the population, half not; or you've got a supportive budget. Now, the problem they've got, and this is where the war thing comes in, is actually they've shelved out so much money to the public and to good causes and to charities and to hospitals, fine. But now you either choose an easing down from a difficult situation, or you continue spending, which may have it may actually help, but in the long term it will damage. So I think he's got a nightmare. He actually, whatever choice he makes, he'll be criticised. He's damned if he does, and he's damned if he doesn't, Sunak. And it worries me he's very young and inexperienced.
We're losing you again, Paul.
Okay, right, okay. Right. Is that better?
Okay, we managed to hear your points. I thought very, very good points. But
Yeah.
we keep on losing you halfway through your speech. Yeah.
Strange, isn't it? Oh, okay. Shall I go for a walk?
Try once more. Carry on. Let's see.
Okay.
And if not,
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
yeah. Keep going. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. So basically, certain things are out of the government's control in any budget, i.e., people will spend. That's going to be natural reaction. The trouble is the government has to kind of curb that in the interest of the public. But we have a very well-informed population that says, well, why are they going to tell us that? So the danger is the government has to find a middle way, but it's quite clear that you can't really curb spending after people have been in what's effective an open prison for a year and a bit. Yeah. Did you hear that, Keith? Yeah. So
Indeed.
I think
keep going.
He's got to be decisive, but not to the extent where people think, well, hold on, we've had a year of austerity, and now you're asking us to have another few months or a year of austerity as well. So I think he's got to do a compromise budget, which is very difficult, and I'm not sure whether he's capable of it or whether the government actually. I think you talked about pundits, Keith. The pundits on this one haven't a clue. I haven't a clue what's going to happen.
Yeah, you've got again.
And I get okay. Yeah,
you've got again, Paul. I'm sorry. We're only hearing every other word. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Okay. We'll try and figure it out later on. But thank you for joining us as always. You and I are going to meet later in the day, so we'll see whether we can fix this problem and not when viewers are watching. Okay, well, Paul Farrell, and it's a pity that we can't make the link this morning. These things do go wrong. The only thing is that I'm always aware of if you go into a public meeting and somebody is there tapping the microphone and saying, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear? Can you hear at the back? Etc. I mean, it's farcical, and we don't want to get into that. So we've tried our hardest to get Paul on because he would make some very astute comments. Having said that, he will be, and we're doing our live view of the budget tomorrow, live coverage from 12:30 onwards on Mirador Television. We're doing it from the studio here, so we won't have that sort of problem. Is you either hear both of us or neither of us. And since this seems to be okay for the moment, then hopefully it'll be me. But let's just take a brief. They used to say commercial break, but it isn't that anymore. Really, it's an information item. When you've missed the train, don't despair. Have a nice cup of coffee. And perhaps a mince pie. At the Runaway on Lewes Station. After that, why worry about the next train? The Runaway on Lewes Station. Relaxation beyond compare. Well, it is not a good morning this morning, but it is when it comes to the weather, because we're going to have some lovely weather. It'll remain a bit cool, but yesterday was a high of 11, and today I think is a high of about 13. Let me look at my famous tree. It's calm, so the breeze isn't too stiff, no rain, and all in all, not a bad day to go out and enjoy. But make sure you don't sort of, what is it? Ne'er cast a clout till May is out, and it's only March. So don't get fooled and get caught without a jacket. I wore a jacket all day yesterday when I was out there. People looked at me as though I was daft. And when I got home, I had a dreadful cold. Now, I've had both jabs for flu and COVID, so I know that it wasn't either of those things attacking me. But nonetheless, some little germ managed to get through. I had a very uncomfortable night. I'm feeling a little better this morning, and hopefully we'll really get cracking as the day goes by. But do be careful. Be careful with your health. Don't be fooled by the weather. It is unseasonably balmy, as they say, but it can change in no time flat. Now, let us see if we can actually look up a couple of headlines here, because we had put much aside for the budget this morning, and unfortunately, technology, such is the fate of was it mice and men, is we haven't been able to bring you Paul Fowle, who is the expert. But Paul will be with us tomorrow. And he will be, first of all, he'll be coming on the program first thing in the morning, just to have a very quick chat. And then he'll be coming down to the studio so that we can actually watch the budget together and bring to you anything that the other stations wouldn't bring, simply because they're not a bit interested in the local stuff. We, on the other hand, will try to keep an eye open for key points that might affect our lives in Sussex. And if there aren't things that are specific for us, I'm sure that the analysis eventually will look at the things that we want or need in this part of the world. The cash is expected from the budget for theatres, museums, galleries, and so on. Pandemic places that have had to close, so that will be highlighted. Now, what I'm saying right now is only speculation on being leaked material. It isn't fact, and it won't be fact until he gets to his feet at 12:30, about 12:30 tomorrow afternoon, in the House of Commons to report to MPs what his proposed budget is. So we'll have to wait until then to get the facts and the figures, but a little bits are beginning to come out, and it looks as if at long last he's beginning to realise that SMEs, that's the small to medium sized enterprise, are important to the economy. And actually, the strange thing is, I don't know. Yeah, sure. You own BMW and you want government support. No government is going to say no and put thousands of people out of work. But 80% of the European Union economy, and a pretty fair percentage of our own, after all, as Napoleon said, we're a nation of shopkeepers, is a pretty high percentage of small to medium-sized enterprises are at the core of our economy. And if you don't look after them, you've got no economy left. And the BMWs can go fling themselves because they won't have any support. It's all interdependent when it comes to economic matters, and the budget is key to it. Oh dear. Sunak prepares to pump cash into COVID recovery as tax rise debate continues. Yeah, that's the other thing. The MPs are getting a bit upset with him because he's at various stages. Let's put it this way: our colleagues who cover Westminster have been briefed about some of the ideas that he's got, and he's got to claw back the money that he's splashed out to everybody except me. I've got no conscience about this. I didn't get any of it, not a single penny. So we have to watch carefully how he's going to claw this money back. And MPs are beginning to worry that he's going to sting various members or various sectors of the community and try to claw back with higher taxes. And of course, they're the people that have to face the electorate. And because we've all been looking at COVID and what's happening is, I suppose, what are we? We're about to, well, still 2 years away from another election, unless the government falls. Doesn't look likely. They've got a big enough majority. But if we have another election, a snap election or whatever, for any reason, they're the people who will lose their jobs if we're all unhappy with them. And so they are getting unhappy with the Chancellor saying, look, if you're going to make it difficult for us to win our seats, then don't expect our support if you're going to ding people for taxes. And none of us want to be dinged for extra taxes. It's bad enough trying to pay the ones that we've got at the moment. But the unfortunate thing is, it looks very much as if he's going to start to claw back at home before he starts clawing back elsewhere. So I think we've got to be prepared for the fact that extra taxes are going to be levied somewhere. Our universities are going to be forced to compensate students for reducing their courses over the period of lockdown. And because students haven't been able to go to their universities, they haven't been able to go into the hallowed halls. They've had to do stuff remotely, and that is not the same. I knew a student who had a very bad time because of the way that the Hearst University handled their remote stuff. And I think that she'd have every right to go and accuse them of taking her money and not delivering the goods. And that's the sort of thing that they have to look at because it's not fair. And if there's anything that has to come out of everything that we've put up with throughout the last 14 months or so, is justice. There has got to be a sense of justice. I'm seething with a big sense of injustice. I'm ready to strike out at anybody. The fact of the matter is, every time there is a new initiative, I do listen to it. I do examine it to see whether, in fact, people in Westminster or people locally are learning lessons. I don't see much evidence of it, but that's just me, and that's just our particular sector and our particular business. Many others, I'm sure, are more than happy because they've managed to keep their employees even while they're locked doors. And I find it quite interesting on social media, where some people would say, I don't know what to do today. I think I'll watch a few movies. My God, I wish I could watch one movie without falling asleep, because when I start to watch a movie, it's at 9 o'clock at night. And I've been working from 6 a.m, and as you can see, with some problems until 9 o'clock at night. And on some occasions, I take a pad to bed with me and fall asleep over it. It is not easy without support, and it is not easy in any sector. But the cash has been splashed, and it's got to come back. And I think that we all need to brace ourselves to the fact that may affect jobs and the sort of jobs that we might be interested in. Vaccine inside the undercover world of benzos. Hancock's news for over 70s, but he means over 80s. Oh, well, there's Cyril Hancock. Apparently, he made a statement about what's going to happen, the benefits, and so on and so forth. And I suppose it's to do with the acupuncture, the jab, and he got the level wrong. He said over 70s instead of over 80s. Now that's the sort of thing that is a worry, because I really think that it demonstrates very much that the government is, to some extent, and that they are out of touch. And I think that it's one of the things that has got to happen is the establishment, if you want to use that broad word, whether it's governments, whether it's the banking system, whether it's the health service or whatever, has got to start to reconnect with people. Because if anything has come out of COVID and lockdown, it's that there's a lot of theory that goes around, and not much of it helps people in practice. Not at all. So I hope that we won't all forget the moment that we're let loose and we can go and have our pint or go to the beach or whatever you want. and all these things are forgotten. And they must not be. They must not be. Good morning, Gary Toynton, who says, how are you feeling today? Hope you feel better. That's very kind of you. Not many other people care. I don't blame them. But thanks, Gary. Yeah, I've still got a cold, but I'm feeling a bit better. And I think that I'm a bit more regenerated. Of course, I don't know about the rest of you, but what I find is that I put things off so that I do them in the evening. And when I get to the evening, is I start to get tired, and then I get crotchety, and then I say, "Oh, I'm not going to do them," and then I leave myself a pile of stuff to do before coming to work in the morning. It's a pity that we unfortunately we tend to go that way. So thanks, Gary. Yes, I'm feeling better. I probably will undoubtedly start to go downhill later in the afternoon. But by that time, hopefully, some of the key things that need to be done today. I've got a couple of meetings that, when I say that, long distance meetings that I've got to fulfill. We'll have to see how things go. Oh, yeah, you see. Yes, I didn't get into bed last night until about 1:30. And then, of course, I've got a time clock, and I wake up at 5. So I was out of bed by 5:15. So not a long night's sleep for me last night, and so I'm a bit shaky today. A bit shaky today. I'm trying hard to make sure that you don't have to listen to me rabbiting on, because that's no fun at all. No fun at all. But here's one little video from way back when we first started Mirador, and it just was how we tried to depict our town, which Lewis in 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, was a really bustling little town, a really bustling town. And of course, now the streets are almost deserted. But this is what we saw it then, as we introduced various programs. Well, we're supposed to. I'm afraid the system is just rotten today. It's just rotten. And it's not us. Sometimes I can say that it's me, but the fact of the matter is just things aren't working, and no, it's not just not working. So I'm afraid that we everything is wrong this morning. Everything. Actually, I feel like the Aunt Sally, the old Aunt Sally at a garden fete, where people actually took a pot shot. I'm afraid I got a call there, but I can't take it because otherwise we just have to say to you, you're watching us do silly things, and that's not fair to anybody. So I see that Maria Caulfield is getting herself into a bit of a problem here with local news, and I didn't catch it totally, but there is some sort of little row going on over something. We'll see whether we can actually find that. Who knows? Oh, here we are. The health secretary announces that vaccines are bringing hospital admissions down by 80% for the over 80s, but accidentally says the over 70s instead. Good old Matt. It's only little things, you see, and you say, why get excited about that? But when you put a lot of little things together, of course, then it makes you lose faith in the thing as a whole. And so, as a consequence, we have to we just have to take some things with a pinch of salt when they say other things. Yes, I'm afraid that we're all of a lather this morning. Indeed, we are. Right. Travel. Well, now there's an interesting thing that in Sussex, the number of male domestic abuse victims is rising dramatically. Um, oh, and if you're going to travel by train, be careful because there's major works and they're just affecting the trains. Um, so those are the sort of things that. Right, okay, here we are, politics. Lewis MP accused of trying to play the blame game over extra housing. Lewis MP has been accused of trying to play the blame game over extra housing development being forced on the district. Last month, Emily O'Brien, a cabinet member for planning at Lewis District Council, warned that the integrity of towns and villages is under threat from grotesque overdevelopment. Because Lewis local plan is almost 5 years old, the district faces a situation where its housing target is set to almost treble to 782 dwellings a year, using the standard national methodology set by the government. The Cooperative Alliance, made up of Lib Dems, Greens, Labour, and Independents, that's our council, took control of the council from the Conservatives back in July 2019. Well, you see, 2019, where's the next election then? 2023? They'll all be watching their P's and Q's. But anyway, it appears that Maria, the MP, is supporting the plan, and the local council, the coalition, is not at all happy. Not at all happy. So there you are. That's the best that I can bring you at the moment. We'll try hard to see whether we can do better. Do better next time. So it sounds like my report card at work, at school rather. I was never going to amount to anything, and I probably haven't. But nonetheless, the fact of the matter is that we seem to struggle by somehow, and perhaps get a little bit of a laugh out of things, and it's just a pity that this. I've got some. Well, there we are. Paul's just checking out the technology, and it does seem to have let us down this morning. That was just a little promo that we used to do to show the vitality of Lewis. Just a funny little thing. We did that way back in 2018, I think, when we were first getting going. So if you think that perhaps it's a little less sophisticated than some of the other stuff that we do, oh dear, I've really got the hiccups again this morning. I don't know why it is. It strikes just around about now. And it's not booze, I can tell you that. I had one beer when I got home last night. I just wasn't feeling like much of anything. Well, I think to get rid of the hiccups, you're supposed to stand on your head or pull your ears or stick your tongue out or something of the sort, but I don't know what to do. Perhaps it would be nice because as we start to head back into anti-lockdown, lock-up, I call it, that we just remember some of the people that did support us through lockdown. being very naughty this morning. Very naughty indeed. I really think that Paul might have a point that it is our internet here, I'm sorry that whatever we do, whatever we press, just simply isn't working this morning. Just simply isn't working. I have no idea why. No, I have no idea why. So I'm just going to have to keep talking for another 7 or 8 minutes. And when I say that, it's not as if there isn't a lot to talk about. And I think that the budget will be a key point to talk about tomorrow. But also, one of the things that I realized, and when I say I realized, is like everybody else, I sometimes let my eye be taken off the ball. And one of the things that keeps cropping up from the people that I know very well in charities is that if it's not COVID related, nobody wants to know. Cancer research, for instance. I mean, cancer is still the most vicious disease. It's taken a lot of people, and at least 5 of my family have died from cancer. I'm very lucky. It's supposed to run in families, so far I haven't got it, and I'm a reasonably ripe old age. I've got other things instead. But I think that we've got to now, as we start to come out of lockdown, is we've got to start to look at some of the things that we've actually ignored. And other diseases than those related to COVID are one of them. I mean, money has been reduced. Doctors' availability has been reduced. You have to now explain what it is that you want from a doctor, and half the time you don't even talk to the doctor. You talk to somebody who's a trained receptionist. That's fine. Actually, I find that in my own case, at my reception, as long as I talk to one of the ladies that I know, I do get good advice. I'm not. They know when to put me through to the doctor or not. I always love being put through to the doctor because I got a very attractive doctor, and I think that tomorrow at some stage is my day for my consultant, and we because we can't go out, we do it on Zoom or Facebook or something of the sort. So I better check that out during the day to make sure that I'm alive and alert and ready. So life has become different. And how is life going to change back? Will we be so COVID centered, if that's the right word, COVID centered, or centro COVID? Doesn't that sound like a good word? Centro COVID is once we know that we're heading towards lockup and that the whole thing is going to ease off. And will we actually go back to looking after some of the other things in our society, particularly the health things? And will we be donating to charities, to the Heart Association, to the people who look after diabetes, to the people who look after cancer, indeed? Will we go back, or will our sentiments stay with COVID, or will we say good riddance and wash our hands of it? The one thing I hope is that we don't forget it. Because if we forget it, then we've not learned any lessons at all, and we will go back to our bad old ways. And they were bad, not because we're necessarily bad people. We're not. We're not a bad nation. We're not a bad race. Oh yeah, there are abuses by everybody, but generally speaking, as we most of us try to abide by rule of law. And where we abide by rule of law, we have communities that are reasonably safe, reasonably open, and reasonably content. But that contentment, in our case, in this country and in the West, was that we were all fat and sassy. We'd all got half a dozen credit cards. Is when we felt like having anything, we didn't work for it. We just phoned up and put it on some sort of charge sheet. Those are the sort of things that we got used to having them, all the luxuries and the benefits, and forgetting that somehow, somewhere, they got to be paid for. Well, the buoyant economy was paying for them. But the economy isn't buoyant anymore, and it's not going to be for 2 or 3 years. I mean, we're in trouble. So how is that going to affect our lives? Who knows? Who knows? But one thing is for sure: is that we must not sit back and think that when lockup comes, lockdown ends, that we can just walk back into our old life. It isn't going to happen. It isn't going to happen for anybody. Some people, I think that if they protect themselves with power or authority, that things are going to happen. But already there are warnings out, and I think the police are being alerted. The fact that we may experience riots and we may experience people marching in the streets over a number of things. I hope not, but if it is so, then we have to take care that we don't allow that to get out of control. Okay, tomorrow at 12:30, and hopefully we will get the technology right, so we're not having a problem. We'll get this technology right. But anyway, Paul Fowle is coming into the studio so that he can, along with me, take a look at what's happening in Westminster and the budget and the Chancellor when he gets to his feet, somewhere around 12:30. We'll probably start our coverage at 12 o'clock and talk through some of the things that will undoubtedly come out during the morning. But hopefully they will be things that we are for the betterment of our society and not dragging taxes like hen's teeth out of an economy and a community that has got no more to give. Okay, that's it for today. Sorry about all the cock-ups. Yeah, but what the heck? You're not going to have days like that. Just if I could just end from a blooper, a broadcast blooper from many years ago, when an announcer in Chicago started reading the news, and he had a number of correspondents lined up, and he started off by saying, and today in California there are forest fires. Joe Bloggs has the details. Silence. Well, we'll go back to Joe Bloggs in a few minutes. In today in New York, such and such happened. We'll go to Fred Rollins. Come in, Fred. Nothing. And he tried a third time in Florida. Come in, Peter Jackson from Florida, and nothing. So he looked at the camera and said, "Mother told me I'd have days like this." Well, today on Mirador Television is Mother didn't tell me, but she could well have done, is that we would have days like this, and I hope that you'll forgive us. And I don't even know whether we can play out the things that see us out normally, because nothing is working. But let's give it a try. All right. Toodle pip.